Spices are so important to us here on the homestead. They transform bland, workaday food into an absolute taste sensation. But honestly, when you go to the shops, what you can get can be very expensive. It's often dry and old and lost its vitality, and the choice is very, very poor. Well, today we're going to fix all three of those things. Hello, welcome to English Country Life. Welcome to the herb bed, not somewhere you come very often. My name's Stu, and together with the fantastic Fiona, I run this small holding here in rural Lincolnshire, where we produce our own food, we cut our own fuel, we harvest rainwater and all those other good, worthy, self-sufficient things. But that's not what we want to talk to you about today. What we want to talk to you about today is our love of good food. You don't get a body like this without loving good food. Now, we love Chinese, we love Thai, we love Indian, and to produce those, we need really good herbs and spices, and they can be quite expensive, quite hard to obtain, so we produce our own. And we've over the years come up with some rules of herbs and spices, and they are the 3 V's and an extra one I'll come to at the end. What do I mean by the 3 V's? Well, number one, value. This is a bay tree. Look at the size of it. Bay leaves will cost you £600 a kilo in the supermarket. I kid you not, check it out for yourself. So we probably need armed guards for our bay tree, and yes, we grew this ourselves. Second one is vibrancy. Those kind of dried bay leaves you buy in the shop look like this. Well, what do you want flavouring your stock? That or that? I tell you what, the flavour difference with the fresh stuff is incredible. The third thing is varieties. Chilies. Well, opinions vary. Some people say there are 3,000 varieties of chilies, others say 50,000. But go to Tesco, you get 3. And not even all of them are labelled. So the choice is so limited, and you miss out on so many things that are so important if you want to eat well. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is growing to a theme, and we do that so that we avoid that pitfall of planting lots of interesting looking herbs and then never using them. But we'll come back to that. Right, let's do value, and let's do it quick. We love Italian food. Okay, Fiona makes this fantastic meatball marinara dish. I make lasagna from scratch, proper stuff, none of your dolmio rubbish in that. We do bolognese, we do all that kind of stuff, and we need the proper herbs to do it. Now, you get a Tesco, you get those little Schwartz glass jar things with about enough for one meal in them, about 10 grams of herbs, and they're going to cost you £1.64. Do the maths, £164 a kilo for herbs. Well, again, I'm rich, we should have Fort Knox level security here. What do you need? You need oregano, you need thyme, you need rosemary, you need sage. It's so easy to grow. Now, I want to let you in on a little secret. Plant them once they're perennials. They'll grow well in a pot, they'll grow well in any awkward little corner of ground you've got, and honestly, they'll save you a huge amount of money. We use them fresh all through the spring and summer, but we also grab a few bundles of each high-tech stuff this, tie a bit of string around them, hang them on a nail in a dark, cool place like a shed. They'll dry naturally, you can crumble them off, put them in a jar, and you've still got your dried herbs for winter. It's so easy, and honestly, even with one bush of each, you'll have enough for your friends and neighbours. If you've got a south-facing wall, you can even have some fig trees. Look how many figs are on there, and they're 67 pence each in the shops. So again, I don't know how many's there, but a good few hundred. V for variety. This is a passion of mine. Big chain stores choose their stock based on widespread availability, long shelf life, low price to them. They don't base it on wonderful flavours. They don't base it on something unusual you've never tried before. But when you grow your own, you can. And I just want to show you 3 things in the chilli field today that I'm passionate about that I think will illustrate what I mean. This one. This is an Onivec chili. It's our go-to chili for spice and heat. It's about 90,000 Scoville. It is massive. It's like 8 inches long. It's, covers both of my hands, but it's so easy to use. You grow them like this, you pick them when they turn red, you put them in a bag in the freezer, and when you want one, you take it out, still frozen, it chops beautifully, easy done, great heat, great flavour. But there's much more to it than that. Let's look at this one. Not the same variety. Looks a bit like those boring little anemic Fresnos you get in Tesco's, but it isn't. This is a Zitava chilli. You've all certainly eaten them. You just didn't know you have. Why? Because when you get those and they turn red and you dry them and then you powder them, you've got paprika. So if you've eaten a goulash, if you've eaten anything with a sort of barbecue sauce flavour to it, you've been eating Zitava chilies. But you've never been given the opportunity to try them as a chilli. They are fantastic things, as are this really unusual one. These are Chihuahua Negro. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation. I apologise for anybody from South America where they come from. It's the closest I can get to it. You cannot buy them in this country. They are simply unavailable. And you may get some very expensive dried ones that aren't the same. They're very mild. They don't have a lot of chili heat. What they do have is this amazing bitter dark chocolate flavour. And if you make a chili sauce out of these, honestly, it'll change your life. And that's why I'm passionate about variety, because there are so many choices that you normally don't get to make because other people have chosen for you. This is lemongrass. I'm not really in the jungle, but it's an amazing, wonderful herb. I make a dish called laksa. It's a soup. It's from the sort of China, Malaysia, Singapore type regions. It's a noodle soup and it's flavoured with lemongrass. And honestly, I'm stood here. The smell coming off this lemongrass that we grow is incredible. And I want to show you the alternative. This little dried stuff can be bought purporting to be lemongrass. And you get no flavours off it. You get no aroma off it. It's awful. You can get a frozen variety and that's okay, but it's not a patch on the real thing. And honestly, it will even produce its own seeds. So once you've grown it, you've got it forever. And you can produce these incredible, luxurious, vibrant, delicious dishes for no money at all. Right, growing to a theme. I've mentioned it, what I mean. Well, you probably got a sense of it when we're talking about all the herbs we grow for Italian cooking. Because to start with, Fiona and I, we got it wrong. We went to a garden centre, we bought loads of exotic looking herbs because they looked pretty and smelt fantastic. And we planted them. And we really never did much with them, if I'm brutally honest. We grew things like Angelica, which was massive and majestic and like a cow parsley on steroids, but I never figured out how to cook with it. What I do now is I think about the meals we really like. Like I say, we like Chinese and Thai and Malaysian cooking. So what is the backbone of that kind of cuisine? And for those, there's about 6 things you really need, and they're going to be included in almost every dish you do. Starting off with garlic, and we need that for our Italian cooking as well. What we do, we plant ours in September, it goes through, we harvest it about June. Every year we keep back the biggest, fattest, most beautiful cloves, and they're the ones we replant. And we deal with shallots in a very similar way. There's lots of shallots in sort of Oriental cooking. They're a much more delicate, lovely flavour than sort of the plain white onion. And again, plant one, leave it in the ground for about sort of 6 to 9 months, and you'll get 8. Keep the best ones back, and round you go. We've talked about the fact that these monster Onivec chilies we just chuck in the freezer, but also what we do is slice the really good looking ones down, take the seeds out, we dry them in a little pot on the windowsill, and then we regrow them the following year. And I want to tell you that I plant my chili seeds on the 1st of January. But I can't because I'm usually horribly hungover, so I usually plant them about the 2nd or the 3rd of January. But early January, in one of those little cheap 25 quid heated propagators, bring them on in the house till sort of March, April, when the last sort of chance of really hard frost has gone, and then we pop them onto little pots, put them out in the unheated greenhouse, and they do fantastic for us. And we deal with ginger in a similar way. So we freeze it in big lumps, we grow it in a bucket because 99p B&Q buckets are much cheaper than any other pot that size you can possibly get. But you do need to start it early in a propagator in the house and then put it out there that sort of March, April sort of time, and it's just poking through the soil. Now the last thing that we grow a lot of for this kind of cuisine is spring onion. And these actually want thinning out, and what I'll do is split that across several pots. But years ago I used to grow great big pots of spring onions, and I got too many at one time and it was no good. These are something you really got to succession plant. Every couple of weeks you plant a few pots of them. You want about half a dozen, no more, the size of the bunch you get in the supermarket, in a 9 centimetre pot. And you can cut them off and they'll regrow a couple of times. And then after that, what you do, let them grow and let them die back. And you get these beautiful, fragrant white onion bulbs that are a really good substitute for shallots. Now, a few little tips and tricks. Get a microplane. Then when you take your ginger out, all your garlic, and peel it, just put it over the wok, gratey, 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 all that lovely, yummy, 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 yummy juice drops into the wok along with the very fine pulp, and you just put the rest that you haven't finished with back in the bag, back in the freezer. So economic, so simple. And when you've got the backbone of a cuisine like that, honestly, every dish becomes absolutely simple. We do fantastic fried rice, we do General Tso's chicken, we do chicken with garlic and spring onions, all those sorts of dishes, but the fundamentals are always the same. Now, I have one other thing, it's not truly a herb, but I just want to share it with you. Right, I want to let you in on a little secret. It's not properly herbs and spices, but it's something we do. It makes a massive difference to themed foods. Now, let me show you one of the secret ingredients. It's a tomato. Yeah, right, we've all seen tomatoes, but perhaps not like this. This is a San Marzano tomato. It's a particular variety, and all the best Italian cooking tomatoes are San Marzano, and they're wildly different than the salad tomatoes that you can normally get in supermarkets or grow in your greenhouse. Cut open a salad tomato, and it's got a thin sidewall and loads of that jelly and seeds in the middle. San Marzano have these uber thick sidewalls full of meaty, tomatoey, fleshy goodness, and very few seeds inside, in fact. So when you cook with these, peel them, chop them up and cook with them, you get this massive amount of richness and sort of tomatoey goodness that's just not there when you do it with a salad tomato. So try growing a few of these, because honestly, your bolognese will thank you for it.
Time for my cameo appearance, because this is a joint effort. I do some of the cooking, Hugh does some of the cooking. Now, to be fair, before I broke my leg, I did a lot of the Chinese, Thai, and all of those types of foods. But when I broke my leg, Hugh took it over, and he is an amazing cook, it has to be said. I mean, the things that he has come out with since I was injured and wasn't able to move around has been so amazing, so tasty, and it's actually making my mouth water already. Really, really good food. Now, growing these herbs doesn't have to be a big effort, so you don't have to grow something the size of our bay tree. If you've got a window box, a tiny balcony, or even a lovely sunny windowsill, you can grow a lot of these herbs with very little effort. And trust me, it's well worth it, because you'll save yourself money, you'll get a fresher taste, and you'll be able to try all sorts of varieties of spices which you've never ever had before and will add to your cooking. Now, if you have liked this content, do take a moment and give us a thumbs up down below. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, hit subscribe and that bell icon, and you'll get to know every time a brand new video is published, and that's a free service. If you have got a question for us, pop it in the comment section and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But for now, thanks for watching, happy cooking, and we look forward to seeing you next time.